Welcome to Teen ypww Lesson 10. I do not own the rights to this music. Today's topic is Helping Words, the Blind Man's Testimony. The lesson text is coming out of John chapter 9, verses 1 through 42. The memory verse. I will read the King James Version first and then the New International Version of John chapter 9, verse 25. He answered and said, Whether he be a sinner or no, I know not. One thing I know, that whereas I was blind, now I see. The New International Version. He replied, Whether he is a sinner or not, I don't know. One thing I do know, I was blind, but now I see. The key for today's lesson. Our words are powerful. Focus. We help others with the words of our testimony. The Witness Security Program in the United States was authorized by the Organized Crime Control Act of 1970. More than 15,000 witnesses and their families have been protected, relocated, and given new identities since the program began. The testimony of witnesses against major criminals, terrorists, organized crime members, and drug traffickers immediately put their lives in danger. The Witness Protection Program provides a haven and a new identity for its witnesses and protects them from the retaliation of organized crime lords. Housing, medical care, and basic living expenses are also provided for these witnesses. Their valuable testimonies that lead to the arrest of major criminals and the overthrow of sectors of organized crime merit their protection from the U.S. government. The Witness Security Program has a high percentage rate of success. No participants following program guidelines have been harmed or killed while under the active protection of the U.S. Marshals Service. Today's lesson continues the theme of the values of personal testimonies. However, we will discuss testimonies under fire that cause your enemies to threaten, attack, and desire to kill you. The expression under fire means that you are in range of enemy weaponry. Our unsung hero for today's lesson is a man who dared to share his testimony under fire. We do not know his name, but we do know his story. He was bold, brave, and not afraid to be a witness for the Lord. In our text today, the political climate was very contentious. The popular and successful ministry of Jesus Christ had enraged the government leaders. They added dimensions of penalties for anyone who supported Jesus or talked about any of his miracles. They justified this public censorship by declaring Jesus to be a sinner based on unfair blasphemy allegations against him. Anyone who supported Jesus in a public setting would be interrogated for blasphemy. If suspects were found guilty, they would be thrown out of the city. Citizens employed by the government would be demanded to shun the guilty person. In some cases, this ruling would directly affect the income of the indicted. These new harsh penalties caused everyone to be very cautious of the words they used in public. Our memory verse is our hero's statement in the Pharisaic court that caused him to be cast out of the city. It is interesting to note that before our hero was brought in to testify in court, first the Pharisees subpoenaed his parents to testify about their son's sight recovering miracle. They cautiously stated, "We know he is our son, and we know he was born blind, but now he can see now, or who opened his eyes? But how he can see now, or who opened his eyes, we don't know. Ask him, he is of age. He will speak for himself." We applaud and celebrate the former blind man who used his helping words to glorify Jesus Christ and represent the kingdom of God in the face of adversaries and dejection. The blind man in today's lesson cooperated with God's plan for his life. His testimony was undisputable and undeniable. Many people witnessed his miraculous healing. There may be times when, as teen listeners and readers, you must also share your testimony under fire. Romans chapter 3, verses 3 through 4 says, For what if some did not believe? Shall their unbelief make the faith of God without effect? God forbid. Yea, let God be true, but every man a liar. as it is written, that thou mightest be justified in thy sayings, and mightily overcome when thou art judged. Although the Pharisaic court wanted our hero to lie against the miracle-working power of Jesus, he did not. He told the truth and faced the penalties. When Jesus heard that the blind man had been cast out of the city, he looked for him. Jesus blessed him and restored his faith. The Lord will do the same for us. We will be blessed when we use our words to testify for Jesus in adverse situations. Jesus will come looking for us too. He has hundreds of ways to find and restore us when we need it the most. The questions for today's lesson: number 1, time out, no television, no candy, and no phone privileges are some penalties you may have to endure. Being shunned by an entire city is different. What do you think happened to the blind man after government officials shunned him? Number 2, after this shunned incident, Jesus found him and blessed him. What happened to the former blind man after Jesus blessed him? The end. God bless you and thank you for joining me today.